Okay, so you know how some places just, like, they just grab you,
Yeah.
and you just can't stop thinking
Yeah,
about them.
yeah, for sure.
And for, like, a lot of people, I think our listeners included, Area 51 is one of those places, right?
Absolutely.
It's like this mysterious place, all this secrecy, and as soon as you hear the name, your brain just, like, explodes with all these crazy what-ifs.
It's the ultimate what if, isn't it? What's
Yeah.
out there? What secrets are they hiding in the Nevada desert?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's really the pull, right? The mystery. Area 51 is like a symbol. It's a symbol for everything we don't know and the possibility of discovering something amazing. Whether it's real or just in our heads, it doesn't matter. So for this deep dive, we're not just going to rehash all the old rumors.
Right.
We want to look at what we know, what we can kind of figure out based on that, and then what we still just don't have an answer for. Maybe we can help you see this whole Area 51 thing a little more clearly.
Absolutely. And just to remind everyone, we did touch on some Area 51 stuff in an earlier discussion, so we're not starting completely from scratch.
Right.
So, okay, let's just get right to it. What is Area 51? Like, officially, what are the hard facts?
Well, at the most basic level, it's a super secret U.S. Air Force facility out in the Nevada desert, like about 83 miles north of Las Vegas. And it's part of this massive area called the Nevada Test and Training Range. Officially, the government says it's for developing and testing new planes and, advanced weapons.
Experimental aircraft.
Yeah.
That's their story. And, I mean, it sounds reasonable enough on the surface, but then you remember the timeline. The government didn't even admit Area 51 existed until 2013. And that was only because some CIA documents about U-2 spy plane testing from, like, way back during the Cold War got declassified.
Right.
So we're talking about decades and decades where they completely denied it even existed. It just makes you wonder if there isn't more to it, right? Like, why all the secrecy if it's just about testing planes?
It definitely raises suspicions. I mean, if they were just testing planes, why all the cloak and dagger stuff for so long? And then you consider where it is, this remote spot, the no-fly zone above it, motion sensors everywhere, armed guards patrolling, signs warning about deadly force. Do you really need all that just to keep people away from seeing a new plane design?
Right.
It makes you think they're protecting something way more sensitive than just blueprints or prototypes.
Exactly. It's like they're hiding an idea,
Yeah.
About a possibility, not just physical stuff. And even the name Area 51, it's not like they came up with some cool, mysterious code name, right?
It's funny. The name seems to have come from old maps they used for nuclear tests in Nevada. It was just a bureaucratic thing, a way to label a section on a map. But then look what happened. Area 51 became this huge cultural symbol. It's like everyone instantly knows it means UFOs, aliens, government secrets. It's amazing how a boring label turned into like this worldwide symbol.
It's true. It's true. And it does kind of show how much we're fascinated by the unknown, doesn't it? Okay, so we have the official story, which is interesting enough, but then there's all this unofficial intrigue. Now, let's dive into the stuff everyone really wants to hear about, the UFO connection. And I think we have to start with Roswell. That 1947 incident, that's like the foundation of all the Area 51 conspiracy theories.
You can't talk about Area 51 and UFOs without mentioning Roswell. It's like the holy grail of UFO conspiracy theories. The idea is that whatever crashed near Roswell, New Mexico in 47, the debris, and maybe even alien bodies, they took it all to Area 51, kept it super secret, away from the public eye.
And of course, the official explanation for Roswell has changed a lot over the years. Like, they haven't exactly been consistent, have they?
Not at all. At first, the military said it was just a weather balloon, but then, like, decades later, they changed their story and said it was part of this top-secret project called Project Mogul,
Right.
which used high-altitude balloons with sensors to try and detect Soviet nuclear tests.
But that whole delay in explaining it as Project Mogul, and then you have all these people who were there in Roswell saying they saw weird wreckage, not like anything earthly, and some even said they saw bodies, just feeds the conspiracy theories, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, why lie about it being a weather balloon in the first place if it was just a secret project? It makes you think they're not being honest.
It creates that suspicion, that gap in the official story. That's where alternative explanations can take root.
Right, right. And then you jump ahead to the late 1980s and you have Bob Lazar.
Right.
He really threw fuel on the Area 51 fire. His story is packed with detail. What were some of the things about his claims that really stood out to you?
For sure.
I mean, it's wild.
Right.
Okay, so he claims he worked at this secret facility called S4, supposedly near Area 51, and he said he worked on reverse engineering alien spacecraft. He even described what they looked like and said they were powered by something he called Element 115, which at the time sounded totally made up.
It was met with a lot of skepticism, for sure. Most scientists thought he was making it up. But then here's the really strange part. They actually discovered an element with the atomic number 115 later on. This was in 2003.
Wow.
They named it Moscovium. Now, it doesn't behave exactly like Lazar described, but the fact that an element 115 actually exists after he talked about it, it's intriguing. It makes you wonder, is it just a huge coincidence or is there something more to it?
Yeah, exactly. It's those little bits of maybe truth that keep the mystery alive. I mean, even if you don't believe everything Lazar said, you can't deny that his story really shaped how people think about Area 51. It became the place for alien technology and maybe even alien encounters.
It gave people a story they could latch onto. It made Area 51 more than just a base. It turned it into this global symbol of the search for alien life.
Totally. Okay, so let's move away from the alien theories for a second. There's also a lot of talk about just regular, but still very secret government experiments happening at Area 51. And we know for a fact that some really advanced aircraft were designed and tested there during the Cold War.
That's an important point. The history of secret aircraft development, that's a real thing. And it explains some of the secrecy around Area 51. Think about it. The U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter, those were revolutionary technologies. And they were all developed in total secrecy. Even high-ranking government officials didn't know about some of them. So there's definitely a precedent for keeping things under wraps.
But that level of secrecy, even within the government, it kind of invites these more, well, out there theories, right?
Right.
If they were that secretive about planes, what else were they hiding? That's where you start hearing about mind control experiments, weather manipulation, even time travel.
It's like that old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire, or at least people are going to look for fire. You mentioned Project Blue Book earlier, the Air Force's official investigation into UFO sightings. That officially ended in 1969. But some people believe a more covert, hidden version of it might have carried on at Area 51.
It makes sense. And then there's the whole Aurora Project legend.
Right.
This supposed hypersonic spy plane that could fly at like Mach 6. Some people claim they've heard its unique engine sound, this kind of pulsing sound. The government denies it exists, but the stories persist. And there have been a bunch of sightings of triangular aircraft that kind of match the descriptions of what Aurora might look like.
It's the classic case of no confirmation, but also no denial, and that just keeps the speculation going. A plane like that would be a massive leap forward. And if we want to connect this to something a little more concrete, there was this U.S. Navy patent filed in 2019. It was for this crazy-sounding hybrid aerospace underwater craft. We don't know for sure if it's connected to Area 51, but just the fact that the patent exists raises some questions. Could it be based on research that's, well, not alien, maybe, but just way beyond anything we know publicly? It definitely suggests there's a lot going on behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what other crazy technologies they might be working on that we don't even know about. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, the question everyone wants an answer to. Are there aliens at Area 51?
Right to the heart of the mystery.
Are they studying alien tech there? What can we actually say about this?
The question of aliens at Area 51, that's what keeps people coming back. I think it speaks to a deep human desire to know if we're alone in the universe. And there's some very detailed theories out there, like whole Project Serpo story.
Right, with the exchange program.
Exactly. Project Serpo is a fascinating and very detailed conspiracy theory. It claims that back in the 1960s, the U.S. government made contact with aliens from the Zeta Reticuli star system. And it gets even wilder. The story says they set up this secret exchange program where humans went to their planet and these aliens came to Earth. And of course, Area 51 would be the place where they'd manage this whole thing and study the alien visitors and their technology.
It's like something out of a movie.
It is.
And then you have the Majestic 12 documents. Most people agree they're probably fake, but they're still a huge part of UFO lore.
The Majestic 12 documents are like legendary in UFO circles. They supposedly reveal this super secret committee formed by President Truman to deal with recovered alien spacecraft. Whether they're real or not, they've really shaped how people think about government cover-ups and UFOs, especially when it comes to Area 51. They fuel this idea of a secret group within the government dedicated to hiding the truth about aliens.
And it's not just old stories either. Just a few years ago, in 2020, the Pentagon released those UAP videos, the unidentified aerial phenomena videos. This wasn't blurry footage either. It was clear video of objects doing things that our planes just can't do.
It's interesting because the government admitted that those UAPs are real. They said they don't know what they are. And while they haven't said it's aliens, they also haven't ruled it out. The fact is, we have things flying around in our airspace, and even our most advanced technology can't figure out what they are.
It's pretty freaky.
It is. It makes you wonder, could these UAPs be connected to Area 51? Are they developing or maybe even studying some crazy advanced technology there, whether it's alien or not?
That's a good question. I mean, even if we ignore the whole alien thing, the fact that the government is so secretive about Area 51 tells us they're definitely up to something big, something they don't want us to know about.
That secrecy is a big part of why people are so fascinated by it.
It is. Okay, so let's switch gears for a minute and talk about something a little more lighthearted, but still very much connected to Area 51, the whole Storm Area 51 thing back in 2019.
Oh, yeah. That was a moment.
That was such a weird internet phenomenon. It started as a joke, right?
A meme.
This idea of raiding Area 51, they can't stop all of us, and then millions of people online got caught up in it.
It shows you the power of the internet and how fascinated people are with Area 51.
I mean, at one point, over 2 million people had RSVP'd to that Facebook event.
It was unbelievable.
Obviously, not that many people actually showed up, but there were still thousands of people who went to the area.
It was more than just a joke online. It turned into a real event.
Yeah, it spawned memes, merchandise, even a music festival.
Yeah.
And the government's reaction was pretty intense, too. The Air Force made it very clear that they wouldn't tolerate anyone trying to get into Area 51.
They weren't messing around. And, you know, even though the whole Storm Area 51 thing was kind of silly, it does raise an important question. Why is the government so determined to keep people out of Area 51?
Right. What are they so afraid of us finding?
Yeah.
It all circles back to that secrecy. So to wrap things up, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've looked at the official explanation of Area 51, a place to develop and test advanced aircraft. But then we also went into the theories about UFOs, aliens, secret government experiments, and even that crazy Storm Area 51 event.
We went down the rabbit hole.
We did, and what's really fascinating is that even after all this, the core mystery of Area 51 is still intact. We have official statements, we have tons of theories, but we still don't have clear answers about what's really going on there.
The mystery endures.
It does. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. If you could magically get one piece of information about Area 51 revealed, what would it be? What would really change how we understand this place? Think about the official stories, think about the theories, and ask yourself, what would be the most impactful revelation?
It's a great question to ponder. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.